I am Smita Nandi, Department of English, Graduate College. This is a lecture for the students of GE3 English. The topic on which I'm going to speak today is what is news, and the lecture is for about 10 minutes. Life appears to be a shapeless jumble of events, falling over each other, elbowing and jostling each other. Journalists each day structure this chaos so that the public receives it sorted out and neatly packaged into stories the same day on radio, television, or online, and the next day in newspapers. It will have been evaluated. The biggest news will be given first in the bulletin or on page 1 of the newspaper. Lesser news will be given in less detail later in the bulletin or on an inside page. Now, the question is, how do journalists decide what is news and what is not? How do they distinguish between a big news story and a small one? The answer is that they do it in exactly the same way as everybody else. Everybody makes those same judgments whenever they decide to talk about one event rather than another. For example, let me give you 3 news stories. Number 1, a girl going to primary school, to high school, or to university. The second news, a man aged 25 marrying a girl aged 20, or a man aged 55 marrying a girl aged 15. The third story, a car killing a chicken, a pig, or a child. Now, if you consider these 3 stories, every one of these events might be news for the community in which it happens, but you will notice that some are more newsworthy than the others. You very likely answered that the most interesting things were, in the first one, a girl going to a university; the second one, a man aged 55 marrying a girl aged 15, and the third one, a car killing a child. Now, the same events can have different levels of interest in different societies and will be talked about in different ways. Clearly, the answer will vary from one society to another depending upon the relative importance of various things. For this reason, the content of the news can be different in different societies. But we have to keep one thing in mind: the way in which the news is judged, though, is the same everywhere. So now, let us talk about the definition of news. Now, news. News is the factual report of an event. So, factual report. Factual has come from the word facts. What the reporter sees is he is supposed to report. Now, objectivity means to report the facts exactly the same way as they occurred. So now let me put up this new word for you. That is, most essential thing for a news item is objectivity. It goes against objectivity if the reporter adds something from his own imagination. A comment or a suggestion or proposal is not the task of a news reporter. These are considered right in a column or an editorial. In these formats of journalistic writings, the writer can provide in-depth and background information. In simplest words, objectivity means just to report the tip of the iceberg and leave the rest to analytical and in-depth reporting. It will not be an objective reporting if the reporter wants to angle, slant, or shade the news. Now, another very important thing about news is that it is supposed to be concise and clear. So here we write this: concise and clear. Now, there is a famous saying about writing a news story: brevity and simplicity are the soul of journalism. I'll write it down here for you, this particular saying, which is very important in journalism. It says, brevity and simplicity are the soul of journalism. Journalism has got a special language which is called the journalistic language, and which is quite different from all the other languages and particularly from literature. Journalistic language is simple, easy, concise, and clear. Its basic aim is to convey the message in the simplest way to the masses, because every person in the masses is not highly educated. Now, I'm going to end this video. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the values of various news which make it eligible to be a news story. So please wait for my next lecture. Thank you.